So I think Wonder Woman may have just saved the DC cinematic universe. This movie surprised me a lot. Despite the extremely high reviews this movie started to get in the week before its release, I was still very hesitant going into this movie. Since the Dark Knight trilogy, the DC movies have not been that great. But I gotta say, this was good. This was good. I really did go into this movie hoping it was going to be good, but not having expectations that it was going to be good. This movie follows Gal Gadot's character, Diana, who is of course Wonder Woman, as she goes to England to try and end the war. This movie is set during the times of World War I, and Gal Gadot has a very good cast surrounding her during this film. So Patty Jenkins directed this film, and I think she did a very, very good job. What surprised me most about this movie was its attention to the smaller, intimate moments. There are a couple in this film that are just really, really well executed and really well directed in my opinion. But on the other side of that, Patty Jenkins, in my opinion, also directs action very, very well. This movie had a very epic feel about it, and I think it's because of Patty Jenkins' direction. And when there was action, I thought it was handled extremely, extremely well. There's a couple scenes that I'll remember for a very, very long time after viewing this film. There's a beach scene in this film where the Amazons versus soldiers. It was crazy. There's this one shot of one of them shooting an arrow, and the camera sort of follows the arrow and shoots a dude, and I'm just like, oh, it was so cool. Brilliant. It sort of like caught you off guard. Like, she shoots this arrow, and it sort of just flies, but as it flies, like the camera just like follows the arrow and then goes into a dude. I'm like, it was so cool. That was one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie. And just a lot of the action in this film was really, really good. That whole beach sequence is incredibly well done. There's a lot of cool slow-mo shots, and I thought the slow-mo was going to get annoying as I was watching it the first time, but it surprisingly didn't. There's quite a lot of slow-mo shots in this film, but I think they work pretty well. And without giving anything away, there's another scene where Wonder Woman faces a whole lot of soldiers, and if you've seen the film, I think you'll know what I mean. And I guess some of the shots are in the trailers. But, it's cool. It's really, really cool. So I gotta hand it to Patty Jenkins. She did a flipping good job with this film, in my opinion. I was worried about Gal Gadot's performance as Wonder Woman going into this film, but she leads this film really, really well. I think she managed to capture the spirit of Wonder Woman so well. She remained epic, and you could still see she was super powerful and she had all the strength in her, but at the same time she had such a gentleness and kindness to her as well. Now Gal Gadot and Chris Pine in this film as well, their chemistry was off the charts for me. Their chemistry in this film was just so genuine, and it felt so real. And while watching this movie, I started to understand why Chris Pine was becoming one of my favorite actors. After Hell or High Water last year and this movie, I mean, this guy can do anything. Now there are a bunch of other supporting characters in this film, and I really did think that added to the movie. There were obviously supporting characters, so they didn't have huge roles in this movie, but the scenes they were in, I thought were really well executed, and they did add to the film. And then the soundtrack as well, I thought the soundtrack was brilliant. Some of the end sequences, the music just, it works so well. It really just punches in some of those emotional beats that the movie wants you to feel. Say what you want about Man of Steel, but that movie for me has one of the best movie soundtracks ever. Like, I honestly love that soundtrack so much. And it added so much depth and just emotion to that movie. And I feel like the exact same thing happened with this Wonder Woman score. I really enjoyed this. And I'm so glad they kept the Wonder Woman theme that they introduced in Batman v Superman. And yes, Wonder Woman does have a theme. Do you want to hear it? I'll put it in right now. And I also really love the cinematography in this movie. One thing I don't like about Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman and Man of Steel is that a lot of the time, a lot of the shots are super busy and they're super dark. This movie literally threw all of that out the window. A lot of the shots were super simple. The color grading in this movie, really good. And I kind of loved how different locations look different, which was really cool. Like, I sometimes feel with big blockbuster movies these days, they kind of just put a filter on the whole movie and then every shot just looks exactly the same. This movie had specific sequences that looked different. So going into some of the things I don't like, the villains, kind of average. Actually, very average. Now, I'm not going to say much about the villains because even from some of the trailers I'd seen, I hadn't really picked up on specific villains necessarily. So if you haven't seen the film yet, I don't really want to go there because going to the film with a completely open mind. I'm not going to say much about who the villains are, but I did feel like they were underdeveloped at times and they just were mediocre villains. Another thing I didn't like is that, as I kind of was saying earlier, that I loved the action sequences, and a part of that was because of the incredible visual effects. There were also effects in this movie that were bad. Very, very bad. So without spoiling anything, there's a character who jumps off quite a high ledge / cliff at the beginning of the film. She's a young character. And as she's jumping, it sort of has a shot of her jumping and sort of like waving her arms around a bit. It was so bad. You don't understand how bad it was. It was bad. I don't actually understand why they left that in or thought that was okay to put in. If you've seen the movie, you'll probably know what I mean, but it was... Anyway, let's not talk about that specific scene too much because I really did hate that shot. It was bad. The visual effects were just super bad. It looked so obviously green screen. It was ridiculous. And then what seems to be the trend in these DC movies is a huge epic final battle. And this movie had that. And some of the visual effect shots and CGI in those scenes were really average and bad. I'm totally okay with DC doing these sort of huge action grand scale battles at the end of their films, but then they got to take more time to make them look better. The final battle in this film looked better than it had looked in, say, Batman v Superman. I thought that the CGI looked more real to an extent, but sort of sliced in between that whole sequence, there were certain shots that were just so bad. They just looked fake. They kind of reminded me of those video game trailers, the not actual gameplay trailers that they show to sort of promote a game. It kind of reminded me of that, and that is not ever okay. Don't do that. But look, I'm nitpicking. I really am. Besides the average villains and besides some CGI moments that were extremely annoying, I really liked this movie. I really did. I think this movie came out at the perfect time. I honestly did. I think this world's in a bit of a dark place, and then just the message of this film of hope and love, it's awesome and it's so relevant, and they handled it in such a way that it wasn't cheesy. I left this movie genuinely happy, and that's awesome. You don't often feel that leaving a movie these days. And this film sort of reminded me of the time I watched the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, and the feeling I had when I left that movie. That feeling that I could do anything, I could become Spider-Man. This movie kind of provoked a similar feeling in me, and I don't know what it was. But I really hope young girls and young boys can go watch this movie and sort of look up to this hero, look up to Wonder Woman, and just feel that their love and their actions can change the world. It was cool. It was good. I really loved it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this movie. I'm really curious to know everyone's thoughts and everyone's opinions. And then one question. Has this movie made you more excited for Justice League? I hope you guys love this review. I know this one was probably a bit longer than the other ones, but I had a lot to say about this movie. Until next time, bye bye.